What if I traded every single best player on each team to another team by using a wheel? And the big question is, who wins it all in year one? So I want to go really quick through this because I used a wheel off camera and I basically spun on every team on their best player. Poor Manu has to play on the Charlotte Bobcats over here. Interesting one here. Kevin Durant went to the Bucks, but I don't think they're going to do much. An interesting one here. Kobe lands in Cleveland, so he'll be playing there. A pairing of Zach Randolph with a prime Dwight Howard and still some great shooting, even getting Steven Jackson. The Hawks actually look like a really stacked team, getting Monte Ellis, and they also got LaMarcus Aldridge. This is the team I really think is going to win it all, getting multiple stars. They lose LeBron, but they get Wade, they get Dirk, John Wall, Tyreek Evans, and Chris Bosh. The Hornets got pretty lucky getting Carmelo Anthony and getting Josh Smith whenever he was putting up shots. But the big one here is LeBron James ended up in New York, and he's going to be teaming up with Amari Stoudemire and Andre Iguodala, building a big three in the Big Apple. We'll see how they fare. Interesting here is D Rose in his prime going to the Lakers to team up with Pau Gasol. Rudy Gay is on the Mavericks now, but they do lose their franchise guy in Dirk. Steve Nash ends up joining the Spurs, building a somewhat big three of Nash, Duncan, and Parker. And although the Thunder lost Kevin Durant, they do get Chris Paul, but I don't know how the pairing of Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook is going to work. The Timberwolves actually got a little bit back, getting Danny Granger, Wilson Chandler, and Kevin Martin to build around. This is the one that's just to look out for in the future, but Blake Griffin teaming up with Steph Curry. Right now, it does have the Heat as the number one. The Lakers are number three. Who is last right now? Yeah, the Nets, they lost a lot. A lot of these teams down here lost a lot. All right, so we've simmed about a month now. We're going to go in here and we're going to see how everyone is doing. Right now, the Mavericks are 12-4. Lakers are sitting at 9-5. Warriors are at 10-7. A little surprising. The Heat are 10-3. Doesn't really surprise me. The surprise here is the Bobcats being 8-7, but the Knicks being 6-9. That is a shocker. D Rose is putting up 26 almost a game with 7 assists and 3 rebounds. LeBron and Stoudemire so far haven't been on the same page, but LeBron's putting up some decent numbers. And the Heat have been disgusting, with Wade putting up 22, Dirk having 9 rebounds and almost 20 points a game. Chris Bosh and John Wall also all doing their thing. The Grizzlies already having some nice success with Dwight Howard and Steven Jackson. Steph Curry and Blake Griffin are already showing promise as a duo. Russell Westbrook without Kevin Durant is putting up almost 28 a game, with Chris Paul not far behind. Well, we're going to sim all the way up to the rookie challenge, and let's see how this goes. All right, we are at the All-Star break, and we have some stuff to talk about. The Heat are 43-12, and the pairing of John Wall, Dirk, D Wade, and Bosh is paying off beautifully. It looks like the Knicks have finally found their stride. The Hawks look like a deadly team as well. The Bulls are actually not doing bad with the pairing of Kevin Love and Joakim Noah. The Bucks look like they're still at the top, with Kevin Durant leading the way with them. And at the bottom, nothing really surprising here. I think Rondo is probably doing the worst out of all the players that we have assigned to. Going over to the West, though, the Mavericks are actually the number one seed in the league, with the Timberwolves not far behind, with a team of Danny Granger and Wilson Chandler actually leading the way quite well. The Grizzlies are at the 4 seed, who have been pretty good with Dwight Howard. The Lakers have slumped a little bit, but are still in contention up there. The Spurs have had a lot of success, having Steve Nash play really well off of Tim Duncan. Warriors are also having kind of a down year, not really having too much success with Steph Curry and Blake Griffin, but this could happen in the future with them being stars. Honestly, looking at this, it's kind of surprising of the Timberwolves. I'm really surprised that they're doing this well. And to look at the awards really quick, LeBron is in the lead for MVP. Ricky Rubio is actually for Rookie of the Year. For the 6th man, it's actually Tony Parker. For Defensive Player, it's going to be Dwight Howard leading the way. For Most Improved Player, it's actually CJ Watson, who actually hasn't had a bad year for him. And for All-Stars, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Al Jefferson, Rodney Stuckey, Manu Ginobili, Paul Pierce, Amari Stoudemire, Andre Bargnani, Brooke Lopez, Joe Johnson all made it to the All-Star game on the East side. And for the West, it's going to be Chris Paul, Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook, Steven Jackson, Rudy Gay, Josh Smith, Chris Kaman, Darren Williams, and Steph Curry all make appearances in the All-Star game. We've officially made it to the end of the season, and it's time to look at the rankings. The Heat boasted a nice record of 59-23, taking the number 1 seed in the East, followed by the Celtics behind by 3 games, and the Knicks as well followed that by 3 games. Surprisingly, the Bucks actually take the 4th seed, with Kevin Durant leading the way, with Andrew Bogut and Brandon Jennings also putting up great numbers. The Bulls and the Hawks are not too far behind, taking the 5th and 6th seed, and with the losing record, the Pacers and surprisingly the Charlotte Bobcats, followed with Manu Ginobili, are able to take the 8th spot. Heading to the West though, the Mavericks boasted a nice 53-29, with the Timberwolves being the surprise team in the West, putting up 50-32. The Spurs had 49-33, followed with Steve Nash and Tim Duncan. The Grizzlies had Dwight Howard leading the way with 49-33 record. The Hornets actually turned it around, getting the 5th seed with Carmelo Anthony. The Nuggets surprised everybody, taking the 6th seed. Lakers fall down short at the end of the year and take the 7th seed, and the Thunder actually get the last seed, which is the 8th seed. And MVP goes to LeBron James, putting up 27, 7, and 5 with almost 2 steals a night. Ricky Rubio somehow got the Rookie of the Year by only putting up 3 points a night. Apparently there was just no good rookies. Tony Parker was actually a dog at 6th man, helping the Spurs get the 3 seed and getting 16.1 points, 4.6 assists, and putting up 2 rebounds with 1.5 steals a night. Dwight Howard became an absolute monster in Memphis, which is exactly what helped them get to the playoffs, putting up 19 points with 12 rebounds a night. CJ Watson got most improved, helping the Bulls actually get into the playoffs after losing D Rose to the Lakers. And Coach of the Year is the Timberwolves, somehow, someway getting this team to this number 2 seed and making it to the playoffs. All NBA first team is going to be Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Dwight Howard. All NBA second team is D Rose, Kobe Bryant, Josh Smith, Kevin Love, and Andre Bargnani, who actually had a really great year. All NBA third team is going to be Dwayne Wade, Darren Williams, Amari Stoudemire, this guy, Blatch, and Brooke Lopez. All NBA defensive first team is Wade, Paul, Durant, Josh Smith, and Dwight Howard. Second team for defense is going to be Rajon Rondo, Andre Iguodala, Kevin Garnett, Blatch, and Ben Wallace. And now we finally make it to the playoffs, where it will be decided who will be our NBA champion for the simulation. Going through this first round, the Mavericks absolutely destroy the Thunder, heading off to the second round to face their opponent, which is surprising, the LA Lakers, who absolutely destroyed Tim Duncan and Steve Nash after having such a good year. The Lakers take them down. Heading off to the other side though, it looks like there was a tough series against Memphis and the Hornets are just not able to get past Dwight Howard, who leads them to the second round. Minnesota, going off of their Cinderella run all the way to the second round, passing Denver, who had a surprise run towards the end of the year, are just not able to stop the team of Kevin Martin, Wilson Chandler, and Danny Granger. Heading off into the East though, Miami quickly dismantles Charlotte, having no chance whatsoever of stopping that Big Five. Milwaukee fights in a tough series against Chicago, but without D Rose, they're not able to stop Kevin Durant. The Celtics took on the Hawks and quickly dismantled them, so everything Atlanta had built up just came crumbling down, and they were no match for Boston. And the Knicks, with Andre Iguodala, LeBron James, and Amari Stoudemire, are just too much for Indiana. They don't even get a game on them. With the NBA Finals, there's so many storylines to look at. But this second round might actually surprise you. Somehow, some way, the Lakers are able to dismount and absolutely sweep the Mavericks. The Timberwolves, after a beautiful Cinderella run trying to make it to the NBA Finals, are absolutely destroyed by Memphis's defense. But in the East, it's a complete different story, with a huge matchup with LeBron, Stoudemire, Andre Iguodala on one team, and Boston still having their big players in Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and the addition of Corey Maggette. They're able to somehow beat them in 7 games and move on to the conference finals. But after all of that, there's still one super team to look out for who has been dominating the league at the number 1 seed. But again, we get a massive shock with somehow Milwaukee absolutely beating up Miami and leading them to the next round. Kevin Durant and Brandon Jennings have been cooking all year, and this is just like insane. So in the conference finals for the West, you have a matchup of defense versus offense. Pairing of D Rose and Pau Gasol leads the Lakers to the conference finals, where they must face a defensive team in the Memphis Grizzlies. And on the East, you've got a team with so much star power facing off against Kevin Durant and Brandon Jennings, who have somehow made a Cinderella run of their own. But unfortunately for D Rose and Pau Gasol, they just were not enough to stop this Grizzlies team. team. With so much star power on this team and so much chemistry, with Dwight Howard and Marc Gasol holding it down and Zach Randolph able to body everyone in sight, Memphis Grizzlies are easily able to take down the Lakers in 5 and move on to the NBA Finals. But in the East, where it seemed like Boston controlled everything and had their destiny in their hands, Milwaukee came up, slapped them around, and swept them in 4 games, setting up a finals matchup with Kevin Durant and Brandon Jennings in Milwaukee, with Andrew Bogut holding it down, versus the most complete team in the league in the Memphis Grizzlies. This Grizzlies team has been literally torching everybody in sight. Like, they are just destroying everybody. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win this. In game 1, Memphis absolutely carries and is able to take down the Bucks in game 1 by 5 points. Game 2 is the same story, with the Grizzlies absolutely dominating the Bucks, still able to stay ahead of Kevin Durant. In game 3 though, it's a little different, with Kevin Durant putting up 31 points, Brandon Jennings putting up 17. They were able to slow down Howard's production, only putting up 13 points, still getting a double-double, but not as effective as he is. And in game 4, it's the same as game 3, with Kevin Durant still leading his team, putting up 26 points and getting a double-double, which ties the series at 2. And in game 3, Milwaukee puts up 111 points, not allowing Memphis to do anything. Kevin Durant put up 16, but Brandon Jennings led the way, putting up 24, 5, and 7, with Gooden and Reed right behind, putting up 20 and 19. And now with the lead, Milwaukee has a chance to send the Grizzlies home and to claim the NBA championship off their Cinderella run. But the Bucks are not able to get the job done, with the Grizzlies putting up 29 from Randolph, 23 from Jackson, Howard getting a double-double, as well as Conley. Kevin Durant's 35 points, 10 rebounds is just not enough to stop this Grizzly offense. And now, with only 1 game left to play, with all the pressure on who is going to win this game, and when it's all said and done, the Bucks are somehow able to make a Cinderella run and win in the NBA Finals, with Kevin Durant putting up 23 points, 10 rebounds, Gooden putting up 15 and 12, Brandon Jennings putting up 18. The Grizzlies, with all the star power, all the chemistry in the world, were just not able to stop the Bucks, and Kevin Durant is able to win his first ring in his first year with his new team. Kevin Durant winning Finals MVP with 23.5 points, 8 rebounds a game. Definitely a Cinderella run. I did not think at all that the Bucks were going to win at all. Memphis looked like they had all the momentum, but they were just not able to stop the Bucks. The Bucks had a Cinderella run. They beat Miami, they beat Boston, and they're able to beat the Grizzlies here. If you like seeing this content, please make sure to subscribe and give me a like, and also comment down below what ideas you guys want to see in these type of videos. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later.